Hello, everybody. It is great to see you all. Hoarder returns. There was not a new episode last week. I was going through some medical stuff, and it just really wasn't feasible. Soonest it could have happened was Saturday, but then I was doing other things for like coverage of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the game, on my channel, and some other things came up. So here I am back with another episode of Hoarder's Comic Flex. Okay, so this is going to be a big Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League episode. Maybe not quite as big as the one we did about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks before the game came out, but it's still going to be pretty big. We're going to end with a review of Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum. That's the prequel comic book for the game. Issue 1, we'll be doing that review at the end. And we are starting with a review. And it's funny, because usually I'll start with like a lesser known book or a book that isn't quite as hot that week coming out. But the book that made the absolute most sense is another huge book. In fact, technically a larger book than Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum. It's Batman 142. First off, look at that gorgeous cover. That is just an awesome cover of Batman and the Joker. That is by David Finch. It's a variant cover. So, yeah, I want to begin with that. So, they decided that in 3 weeks' time, we're going to know everything about the Joker in Joker Year 1. Now, this is not, at least in this issue, about who the Joker was exactly before, he became the Joker. This is right at the very beginning of the Joker, and the first year. So this is during the Red Hood gang. This is after he falls in the vat of acid. It's a young Gordon, not a commissioner. Let me see here. Is it officer in here? Give me 1 second, everybody. I can't remember. Well, Loeb is gone, and there's like a new kind of like commissioner that's not a good person. And you find out that he's involved with some seedy people. And in this book, though, the main focus is the Joker fighting with himself. The Joker fighting with the version of him before he fell into the acid, which was just like, I guess, a couple days ago. And he's having this fight with that version of himself, the original version, before he became Joker. And he's trying to get his gang back together. They've basically fallen apart. He's trying to find the members. The members of his gang, however, feel that the Joker is a loose thread, and they actually want to kill him. And, yeah, it's a very cool read. And then there's this interesting moment where you find this person that trained Batman, and he wants to train the Joker and his intellect. So that's interesting. I'm not exactly sure where that is going to go. I don't really know. So. But yeah, it was a really good read. And yes, next week is issue 2. Well, technically issue 143 it would be. And then issue 144 will be coming out the week thereafter. So it's supposed to be 3 weeks in a row, I believe. And it's the idea of Joker Year 1. And it's Chip Zdarsky, who's doing a really good job with the Batman comic book. So I definitely recommend it. If you can get this cover, I highly recommend it. It looks so cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else super specific in here. Yeah, you don't see the Joker go crazy in this issue. And there are moments where you think like he's going to go crazy and kill somebody because they've, slighted him. And we're probably going to be building to that, I'm guessing, in issue 3. As, this year in the Joker's life continues. But yeah, this is really good. And again, it's not the Joker before You know, it's not the whole thing about like stand-up comedian or any of the other things that Joker was thought to be. So, but it's like Joker year one, like Batman year one. Okay, that is our first review. And next up, we are going to talk about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, the game is 7 chapters, and I'm on chapter, I believe it is 6. And I have fought the Justice League. And it is pretty awesome facing them. I actually really like the boss battles. Some people really are like, the boss battles suck. But that's also like a whole narrative that people have had for Rocksteady since the beginning. Now, I will say this. Arkham Knight only has like, I think 1 or 2 boss encounters. There's not many. There might be more in the DLC than the actual main game. But like Arkham City, you had Solomon Grundy. You had Mr. Freeze, which is absolutely an excellent boss battle. You had Ra's al Ghul. You know, you had a whole mess of really good boss battles. Arkham Asylum, I would say Poison Ivy, but I do find it frustrating. It are times where, like, she'll get you trapped in her vines, and you're, like, pretty damn sure you're not in those vines. But you're in those vines. And you do get trapped and hurt. But for the most part, I think they've done some pretty cool boss battles. It's just not, like, that they're stellar at it. But I really like the boss battles in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Let's see. Standouts for me would be Batman. The Batman confrontation is wild. I very much like that. So you get very early in the game, you have something called the Batman Experience. And then when you meet Bruce, he calls it the real Batman Experience. And wow, is that something. I don't want to ruin it because it's so unique compared to the other boss battles, but it's really good, and it's in keeping with the events of the end of Arkham Knight. So, yeah, I definitely enjoyed that a lot. The battle with Green Lantern was really cool. That's really a lot about his constructs and facing his constructs, which a lot of people, I'm sure, probably guessed, you know, like, you saw those every time he would show up in the game, you know, those are going to be a big part of it. So, the Flash, I did die once during the Flash. I did that single player, but on the second attempt, I was able to do it. It's challenging, it's fun, and the thing to keep in mind is, basically, if you see the Flash, and he does a counter, do the counter shot on him, because it's not like a clone of a Flash, it's the Flash, and he's just in multiple places at once. So if you get a counter on that, definitely go for that Flash and take advantage of that. Also, make sure that your Speed Force dampener is full. Like, it doesn't have to be completely full, but you want to make sure that there's at least some of the dampener in there, or things go insane. Like, everything is so much faster, you are almost guaranteed to die very quickly because you don't have that dampener going. And there's like, he has tornadoes coming at you. And what's really interesting, which I didn't realize in the first attempt at fighting him, was he has these explosions that are going off. Like Speed Force energy bursts that are like in these spheres, okay? So you have to throw your grenades at those. And basically that defuses them. Otherwise, they are very dangerous when they explode. And that's what I found out the first time I tried fighting the Flash. I won't spoil Superman either, but man, is that an intense fight. Single player, I didn't realize we were going to go directly into it from another moment of the game, but we did. I didn't have the proper gun. So I'm there with like a piss poor submachine gun trying to take on Superman, and it did not go excellently. I ended up playing with a friend on stream, and we were able to best the Man of Steel. But wow, single player, your head has to be on a swivel for that fight. You have to know the exact limitations of traversal, like how far you can get and which direction to head. It's really intense. Like, I don't even want to say the things he does, but you need to be able to move incredibly quickly and read what's going on in the fight, or you will die. And again, I think it's much easier if you do it with a group, at least more than one person. I did it with another person, so yeah, it was a really cool battle. And now things are interesting in that we're, heading toward the whole Brainiac situation. And now we're trying to get something called Prometheum, which allows you to, like, open up the bridge, I guess, to get to Brainiac. It's like a currency you get. And I'm, like, technically, I guess, in Endgame, but I'm also not at Chapter 7 of the game yet. So, kind of, sort of. Like, I think I'm in an early Endgame, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I really like the story a lot. It has some of the best production values of any game I've played. The characterization and just like the dialogue that the characters have as you're walking around and stuff is just so well done. It is some of the best third-person shooting in a game that I've played, and I think that all 4 characters have really great traversal. So I very much like the game. Anyone watching, have you played it yet? Have you had a chance to, anyone? And then in March, we get The Joker and the first season. Episode 1 of Season 1. So looking forward to that. And then roughly about a month and a half after that will be Episode 2 of Season 1. There's supposed to be a lot of good content based on that. The type of missions you do multiple times, I love the vehicle missions. The ones where you get into a vehicle that's basically like a bomb with seats. And it's the only thing that hurts the enemies. So you're on the rooftops, basically firebombing as many enemies as you can. And then all of a sudden you find out, uh-oh, the vehicle's about to explode, so you have to jump out of it. What I love to do is I like to get over the barrier that's like there when you defeat enough enemies, and I jump out of the vehicle right over the barrier, landing in the barrier in the last few seconds before the EMP blast type of thing goes off. I very much like that. That's a lot of fun. And the Poison Ivy missions are really fun with a group. Because, like, you'll have, like, these 3 locations, A, B, and then the big giant plant in Daphne. That's Poison Ivy, or just Ivy, that's what she goes by. That's what she tells you, just Ivy. That's basically her huge giant plant, almost like a pet. Hard to say exactly. Anyway, so, like, you have those 3 areas, and you have to watch those as the Terminauts are coming and fighting and stuff like that. Those are fun. Those are fun, especially with a group. There's missions where, like, you have to shrink people down and bring them to a bus that gets them back to Bel Rev. That's really cool. Yeah, I very much like the game, though. I think it's really good. My review is an 8. I feel that if you give the game under a 7, it's kind of a slap in the face. Like, it's very good. I don't know. It's just very frustrating to see other games as a service getting a pass. No one upset about repetition. No one upset about all the features of a game as a service. Okay? You're probably not going to hear, I don't think, too much, especially compared to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, about Helldivers 2 in that respect, or Skull and Bones. And I'll actually be trying Skull and Bones after this video. There's like a open beta or whatever, so I'll be trying it out. But I really feel that when the previews or reviews actually come out, it's not going to really focus on that stuff. I feel like everyone hit Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League so hard because they couldn't get it through their heads it wasn't another Batman Arkham game. Mostly grown adults, so upset, so hurt that it wasn't another Batman Arkham game and that Rocksteady did something different. I really feel a lot of the reviews are based on that. I feel a lot of the sentiment is based on that. But I give the game an 8, and I fully understand if someone gave it like a 7. But if you're giving this game under a 7 for everything it does so well, I'm kind of floored. Especially as someone who played Marvel's Avengers. That's right, I'm going to play the Marvel's Avengers card right now. As someone who played Marvel's Avengers, there are so many features we wanted that were not there at launch and were never there. Never there at any point. That this game launched with. Is it perfect? No. There's a huge, insane bug that was stopping people from actually getting into the game. It booted them out of the actual game itself to the main PlayStation screen. Might also have happened on Xbox, I'm not sure. Doomkiller HD actually went through this. Luckily, that his issue has been fixed, and I believe that's been fixed for everyone having that same issue, so that's good. That's good, because that was a huge issue. Buying the game and then not being able to play it at all. And it wasn't a server issue. It was like an agreement between the software and... I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yeah, I'm happy that was rectified for Doom and everyone else having that problem. It's going to be very interesting to see how people look at the end game of it. And if that's going to be enough for some people. I fully expect that in a week or so, a lot of people are probably going to stop playing and then wait for March. I know I'll be playing a while more. I think it's really good. And also, like I said, I've not even completed the 7-chapter campaign yet. So, again, I'm I think at a soft version of Endgame. I'm also not at level 30 yet. So when you take a character to level 30, that changes things a little too. I want to say my King Shark is at 20. Yeah, King Shark is my highest level character too. I have I think everyone else at right around level 15, and I think Nanaue is at 20. My two mains are Harley Quinn and Nanaue, but I am playing as all the characters because they're a lot of fun to play as. And there are moments where you're like, hey, being Deadshot with his jetpack and his sniper weapon, that's going to be a good choice here. You know? Or, hey, I like the Speed Force. I want to play with the Speed Force for an hour or so. So then you play as Captain Boomerang, you know? So, yeah. I'm very happy with it. Like I said, currently I give it an 8. Again, I'm not completely done with the campaign, but I'm very far, and I want to say I'm about 25 or 30 hours in. I'd have to check on the actual console, but something around that amount. So I put as I said before, I'm playing the game like a Warner Brother tortoise. Like the tortoise in the hare cartoon from Warner Brother cartoons. Slow and steady wins the race. But yes, I'm having a great time with it. So, other gaming news we had this week. I would be remiss if I didn't mention what is going on with Xbox and Microsoft. Depending on who you listen to, Xbox is completely done with physical consoles after Series X. They will no longer have exclusive games at all. Everything's going to be on PlayStation. And they basically just given up. Or they've decided to take a few of the games, like Starfield and maybe Indiana Jones and is it the Golden Circle? I think it's the Golden Circle. Indiana Jones's game, and that might also come out on PlayStation. So it might be just a few games here or there that could be coming to PlayStation. It is thought that they are moving away from physical media because a lot of the departments that did physical media for Xbox apparently, I guess, were either shuttered or a lot of the employees were let go or moved to other departments. So there is that. Now, I would be surprised if we were done with a physical console after Series X from Xbox. I think there would be at least one more physical console. I don't think that every single game is going to PlayStation. I don't think they're just going to be like, hey, we're making games now that'll be on all consoles. And people are already saying that they've ended the console war. Maybe. We're going to find out apparently next week. Microsoft is going to have like some big press conference or something next week to explain everything. Basically, information leaked ahead of time, and that's not ideal in any situation. Obviously they want to have their best foot forward, have all the information out there. And now we basically had to wait a week to see what the heck is going on and if Xbox players have to be irate or not. Could be a better situation there. Now, with the Indiana Jones game, I know a lot of people that just have like PlayStation that are very much looking forward to that. So I think that's neat. That's something that's so big and so like culturally popular. It's one of the biggest things in pop culture, Indiana Jones, that I would say that makes sense. And it's almost like a mea culpa to PlayStation players to allow that game to come to PlayStation, even if it's like 6 months later. Now, if they are going to do this, right? If they are going to bring these games to PlayStation and maybe Switch and everything, does that mean that they'll have special versions for Series X and Series S? Like, are they going to have certain features and things like that? Is it actually going to be parity between the different versions of the game? Or are they going to make theirs a little bit better somehow? A little bit unique somehow? It's another thing to think about. I will say this. When I got my Series X, I got it for two reasons. I needed a 4K Blu-ray player in the living room that was affordable. A regular standalone 4K Blu-ray player, pretty pricey thing at the time. So I needed one of those. And then also I wanted to play Fable. Of all the games that they announced, the one I was really looking forward to was Fable. So I don't know exactly how I would feel if they're like, well, Fable's coming to PlayStation. I don't know. I think it's cool a lot of people will be able to play it. But that was one of the determining factors of me getting the Series X. So that's something that'll probably at least be in the back of my mind, but I don't think it's gonna like drive me nuts or anything like that. Okay, everybody, now it is time for us to toy around. And first up, we have Shockwave. Comic book version Shockwave. And see that like little orange square in that box there with Shockwave? The next picture will show what that is. And it's pretty crazy. Let's see here. I believe I've got the second picture, right? I'm questioning that I have that here now. Oh, wow. I forgot it. Oh, boy. That's a first. That's a first, everybody. Anyway, that's a picture of Shockwave outside of the box, kind of in a pose. I wouldn't really say an action pose, more like walking around the town type of pose. Saturday Night Fever pose, going down the street. But also in that picture, Optimus Prime's severed head. That's what that little orange box is there. On the other side of that is Optimus Prime's severed head, which apparently is from a specific comic book story arc, because this is meant to be in the comic book design of this Shockwave. I think it looks really cool. I really like it a lot. I like the coloring. I'm a fan of Shockwave. It's a very good sculpt of the character. I really like that cell shading type of look. Doesn't always work for me, but here I really like it. Like, they also did a comic accurate version of Grimlock, the Dinobot, and I'm not a huge fan of that. They did one that was like, I think a lot of purple and gray that came out last year, and I really enjoyed that one. That one was cool. Okay. That's Shockwave. Next up we have an ad. Okay, so Friday, I believe it's at 11 a.m. Central Time, 2-figure collection from McFarlane Toys, right now looking like it's available only from Amazon as an exclusive. Kilowog and Kyle Rayner. A 2-pack of lanterns. Green Lanterns. And I believe this is the only image they've shown so far. But a lot of people are apparently very excited for this. And in this scale, in this line, I think it's the only time they've done Kyle and Kilowog. So yeah, there are people excited to see this and excited to pre-order it. So that's going to be at Amazon, I believe, on Friday at 9 a.m. Central, I believe. You can probably read it better than I can. It actually says right there the time too. So, okay. So let me get rid of that. McFarlane also has been doing a line of toys called Page Punchers. Punch into pages, because you get a little action figure that's like in the 3 to 4 inch range, and then a comic book with that. So they have decided to do that for Transformers and G.I. Joe. And you're probably thinking, they don't have the license. Have they lost their damn minds? No, they got the license. They actually got the license from Hasbro to make these. So they have not lost their damn minds. Okay, so first up we have Optimus Prime and Megatron. $16.99 is the price I've been seeing. And you get 2 comic books, one Megatron based, one Optimus Prime based. And again, they're right around 3 to 4 inches or so. The detail on the Megatron looks really nice. I don't know if the final version is going to be that great at small scale, because that's going to be impressive if it is. But yeah, that's a really cool 2-pack right there. They are also doing Wheeljack and Bumblebee. That's the other 2-pack that they are doing. So that's the first one right there. And yes, G.I. Joe as well. This is Cobra. Cobra Commander and a member of the Crimson Guard. Like a Crimson Guard soldier, not like Tomax and Zaymont. Each with a comic book. And it's cool. The Cobra Commander comic book and the pose for Cobra Commander work really well there. So I was like, okay, that's the picture I should show here for this. So, yeah, I think these are neat. I recommend, unless they're your absolute favorite characters, if you haven't really seen the small page punchers and everything, try to see them and like look at the paint and the sculpts and stuff, for like other characters and see what you think. Because some of them are a bit rough. And again, it's that real small scale. I get that. So you might want to think twice. But yeah, the 2-pack, $16.99, which price-wise I don't think is too bad. You get 2 figures, 2 comic books. I think that's not bad. I figure that the figures would be worth about $5 each. Like if they were just selling them separate. Probably. And then the comic book being like $4 each. So yeah, I think that's pretty good right there. The other G.I. Joe set, I believe, is Duke. And I'm trying to think who the other character is. I think it might be Snake Eyes. It might be Duke and Snake Eyes. Okay. And with that, we are actually done toying around. We didn't have all that much to show for toys. Like I said, one thing was basically an ad being like, hey, you like these 2 Green Lanterns? You can order them in a few days. So that was, that was one of the things right there. So next up, everybody, we are going to look at the future of comic books. All the way to 1 week from today. Okay. So, first up, we have Vengeance of the Moon Knight 2. So, basically, the new Moon Knight is like an unholy marriage between Ra and Khonshu, apparently. And basically going against Hunter's Moon in this issue. This is a good time to jump on. Issue 1 came out just like a month ago, and here's issue 2. We're still very early on in this story arc with a new Moon Knight. Issue 1 was great, and not only when I knew issue 2 was coming out today, but also this gorgeous cover. I believe it's a variant cover, but it looks gorgeous. And I was like, okay, I definitely have to show that cover and talk about that book. This is the exciting time, too, where in the first few issues you're going to get some cool reveals and things like that. It's kind of like a at the edge of your seat type of situation, But yeah, Moon Knight, great character, and Jed MacKay did an excellent job with the previous volume and is now currently doing this volume as well. Vengeance of the Moon Knight. Next up we have Transformers number 5. And I like the Transformers a lot. As you can see, we talked about like those Page Puncher toys that you can be pre-ordered now and everything. The thing to keep in mind though is not every single comic book, not every single like spin-off or whatever is great. This comic book, however, is awesome. I've read now 3 of these. This is issue 5, so I've read 3 of the 4 issues, and it's really good. It's a very clever take on Transformers, and it even was able to easily spin off to G.I. Joe in a very clever way. And here we have the result of Starscream in the last issue Frankensteining something together. And basically, it talks about he's basically bringing back the most dangerous Decepticon to wipe out the Autobots once and for all. Which I kind of doubt will happen, because this is only issue 5. But still, it should be exciting. I'm trying to tell what's being built. I'm thinking it's going to end up to be Devastator, because it kind of looks like parts of Devastator, but I'm not sure exactly. And that's one of the most dangerous, super big, frightening Decepticons I can think of. So that's what it kind of looks like to me is being put together. There's also a lot of green there. And he had that kind of like bright green color. So I think there's a good chance that's what they're leading to. But yeah, Transformers issue 4 was really great, and I'm looking forward to issue 5. And there it is, right there on the screen. Next up we have Batman City of Madness, number 3, written and drawn or art by Christian Ward. Issue 1 and 2, or volume 1 and 2, were excellent. And a frightening Cthulhu-type Batman story about something terrifying called the Batman Below. And basically the Batman Below escaping the prison he was in and partially thinking he's actually Batman. It's wild. And then you find out that in this prison-like area, there's a twisted version of every person. And one of them we may have met is a version of Two-Face, which is very different. It's like the opposite of Two-Face. And it's like the idea, like, I think he's trying to find redemption. And yeah, there's a lot going on here, but this is volume 3, the final volume. One thing to keep in mind, as awesome as this is, they will definitely be doing like a hardcover collection of volumes 1, 2, and 3 together. This book, as far as I know, has sold really well, and it's just been an awesome Batman story. So, and the artwork is gorgeous. Christian Ward is excellent. Okay, everybody, I believe that's all the comic books we have for this week. It is. It is. So that was the future of comic books. And of course, next week we'll have the future of the next week of comic books. And then the week after, we'll have the future of the week plus the week. Okay, we need to stop. We need to stop. Everybody, we're almost at the end of the episode. But now it is time for Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum number 1. And truth be told, I wanted the Steve Beach cover, which recreates a moment in this issue, but it sold out. And I could swear to you I pre-ordered that version. It's possible I didn't. I can't 100% guarantee it. So part of me might have been like, oh, it's like this. So that artwork was like actually like this. So maybe for a moment I was like, no, I want the more traditional this look, you know. So that's possible. That might be what I did. But the Steve Beach cover was awesome. We'll talk about in a moment. Okay, so this is a prequel to the game Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And again, this title is slightly different. Suicide Squad Kill Arkham Asylum number 1. And there's going to be 5 issues in this series, not 6. And basically, Amanda Waller gets control of Arkham Asylum. Probably not a great thing. And she's had a lot of remodeling done. To the security side, everything else is like a hellhole. Rats crawling everywhere, dirty, filthy cells, basically making the inmates suffer as much as humanly possible. Because again, Amanda Waller, not one of the nicest people. So in this issue, basically Amanda Waller is giving a tour to Mayor James Gordon. Again, this is after the events of Arkham Knight. Okay. And giving him a tour of the new facility. Or the remodeled facility. And he takes a pause because he's like, he just feels like there's something wrong there, right? That like, and that like, she's like needlessly cruel, Amanda Waller and everything. So as they're talking, all of a sudden, they're outside in the courtyard. Basically, the body of Killer Croc comes smacking down onto the ground, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And right above Killer Croc is Batman, and Killer Croc is like dead to the world, high on tranquilizers. So, as this is happening, Batman shows up. Amanda Waller's not thrilled. And Batman has questions, too, about what Amanda is doing here at Arkham Asylum. And he's not thrilled with certain things that Amanda has said about the way she's going to treat the inmates and everything. So we have now both Gordon and Batman not happy with Amanda Waller. And the funny moment here in this issue is that you get Mr. Zsasz. And Mr. Zsasz is basically tormenting, of all people, the person you wouldn't want to torment in the group that you play in the game, Nanaue, King Shark. And at first it's amazing because he thinks that, King Shark thinks that Zsasz is actually coming on to him. Because Zsasz is like, you keep it up, I'm gonna stick ya. And King Shark goes, I'm flattered, but I'm not into human beings. And then Zsasz is like, no, I meant I'm gonna stab you. So when he finally brings it home that he's actually threatening him, King Shark bites Mr. Zsasz's head right off. He bites off Victor Zsasz's head. And the cover I was trying to get was Steve Beach, and it's basically King Shark, Nanaue, about to bite off Zsasz's head. This really awesome, painted looking art cover. That was the alternate I was trying to get. Okay? So, you have Gordon upset, and then he actually sees Harley Quinn. And he goes, tell me, from your perspective, what you think of this new version of Arkham Asylum. And then he actually goes and makes her happy because he brings up the whole fact that, she was a really great, psychiatrist. So she does almost like a clinical of what's going on in Arkham. And Gordon is even more upset. And next we find out that it's 3 months later. The events of Metropolis are happening, but at this point, no one seems to know what it is. It basically sounds like super criminals and rival gangs are taking over, and the Justice League hasn't been seen for days. Okay, so that's the point we're at. And then Amanda Waller makes the decision that no one gets out of Arkham Asylum, and she says this earlier, no one gets out of Arkham Asylum or into Arkham Asylum without my say-so. And now I want you to open the cell doors. So she forces Rick Flag to open the cell doors, and it's basically gonna be a kill or be killed asylum as the inmates are free. So it basically seems like we're leading up to the moment at the beginning of the game where they're all in gurneys. Because it sounds like most of the inmates in Arkham Asylum are going to kill one another. And these are going to be the 4 that are left, is what it sounds like. So, yeah, a very cool read. It was neat getting some background and information. Batman still seems to be doing his thing after Arkham Knight. So, even the whole Demon Bat, that's part of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But he was also able to pull away from that and just sort of do the Batman thing as well. Now, there could be a point here where he goes back into some of that, in issue maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5. I don't know. But as of right now, that's where we're at. And then it's 3 months later, and it's the events of Metropolis. Plus, everybody, you get a very cool, I can't show it to you because it's a QR code. It's a QR code. But you get a QR code for the Victor Zsasz weapon doll. So you get an exclusive weapon doll for buying the comic book. So you get some DLC for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Again, I think it's a very good cover. I'm not upset with this cover at all. It's pretty badass. But yeah, I was trying to get the Steve Beach cover. Okay, everybody. I want to thank you all for watching this episode this week. And again, I'm sorry about no episode last week. I am happy to be here again, though. So, yay! I want to thank Doomkiller HD and DSG Gaming for letting me borrow the channel again. Thank you. Currently, I'm doing a lot of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Hoarder Gamer. Also, I'll be doing some Skull and Bones. We'll be doing some of that open beta, and I might be trying out Helldivers as well. But I very much love Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So that's going to be more of a focus, at least for the time being, on my stream. So, everybody, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week with another episode of Hoarder's Comic Flex. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.